Hey buddies, so earlier today I made a vlog talking about how crippling the new Xbox One system and tying licenses to an account is going to cripple lending and trading, swapping games with your friends. And I asked for information that could help me think of any other possible scenario. Wasn't really able to get much in terms of lending. The only thing that has come around that comes close to that is an interview with Wired in which Phil Harrison said that the Wired only gave an example of, for example, I have multiple Xboxes in my house. If we have, can we still swap games within the house if we have multiple Xbox Ones? He says absolutely you can do that, but then he has lines in here that says that anybody in the house, well, the Xbox Live account, it goes for Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and any user inside that house. It seems specifically that if you want to trade games amongst yourselves, that you're going to have to also share your login credentials and your account, or at least a dummy account. Maybe if you really wanted to make this work for yourself, use an account that you don't actually use to have a friends list and stuff just to log in with and install games, and then you can trade that account so that other people can play that game on another system while you use a different account on yours, because otherwise you also wouldn't be able to log into your account to play games while you're lending out your games. It continues to muddy the waters. It is extremely hard to get through all of the sort of just bits and pieces of information that Harrison specifically has been giving out. He has also said in an interview with who is it here? Sorry about that. Who did he say this to? It was with Game Informer. It's actually on YouTube. I'll link to that below. I'll link to each of these articles. He has said that you will be able to take your games back to a retail location just like today and trade them in. Here's why one should expect that this will be not exactly like today, because they have said that once you install it, you don't need the disc anymore to play it on. So if I take my disc to a retail location and sell it to them, how am I not going to be able to go back home and keep on playing that game? They have to do something to remove the license and so that I can't play it anymore once I've sold it to GameStop Power to the players. What's going to happen, this is my prediction, is that some sort of a program that retailers who want to have used game programs will have to sign up for. They will get a computer system, some sort of a thing that allows them to take your either your login credentials, or discs will have some sort of RFID on them to uniquely tie them to accounts and with the license. They'll be able to scan it, do something which takes the license away from you when you sell it to them, and then they will be able to resell that license because they have officially reapplied it to the game, or the game has now become relicensed because it was removed from an account. It's really confusing, these scenarios, and we can only guess really how they'll work. But this is at least some confirmation that brick and mortar stores, as much as I don't really like them that much, GameStop in particular, will still be able to participate in some sort of a used game market. And my guess again is because they will have to register with Microsoft. Microsoft will be siphoning off a little bit of the cut. They'll be taking a percentage of these transactions, or it will be a matter of licensing kiosks or the software itself that does this to the stores at an annual price of some sort. So the way that this applies to things outside of retail, though, this isn't all, even in that scenario in which it's inconvenient-ish compared to just how it used to be, but at least it's better than what I painted before last night, was a digital system that is run solely by Microsoft within the Xbox system, where they set the prices and control it 100%, which is never good to have a marketplace that can be controlled by a single party. Competition equals lack of competition is bad in capitalism. Anyways, so because this information is at least a little bit good news, that they'll have third parties involved in the process, the other bad news is for eBay and Craigslist. If those two are still to be considered viable options for reselling games, the gray market, to others, user-to-user sales, then it will require the user to be able to remove the license themselves from their own account. In other words, go through your account and say, you know, Hitman Absolution, I don't want to own this anymore. I'm going to sell this game. Like, take this off my account so I can't use it anymore. Then it will remove it from your account, which will then allow you to sell it to somebody. But the thing is that really makes that sticky and not ideal is that if on eBay you are trying to buy it from somebody, you're going to have to trust that they took that off of their account, that game, that the original installer, and that when you receive it, when they receive it as the seller, you're going to have to hope that they don't open up a dispute with eBay that says, I received this game I bought from him, and it hasn't been removed from his account. And then you'll be like, well, yeah, I did remove it from my account, and the buyer will be like, I want a refund, and that sort of thing. And then with Craigslist, you're going to have to get guys to come to your house with their Xbox, hook it up, and install the game that you're selling to them. And that completely abolishes, like, you can always trust someone, but that kind of really ruins the Craigslist market. And I know that is a big one that a lot of you just do a little search on Craigslist. You'll see how big that market is, that secondhand market. So I had some other theories on how I thought it might work better. One of them, I'll go back to the RFID. This is actually K-Shade's theory, and I kind of agree with it too, is that because Blu-ray discs, to my knowledge, cannot have individual identifiers, so like maybe they could have some new technology that lets this happen, but when you replicate discs in a massive scale, each one does not have any unique identifier besides like maybe a printing serial or something printed onto the actual plastic itself. What they could do is have RFID chips in each disc, which would get like programmed on their way out of the warehouse with the serial code, or like, you know, the ownership, the license. And this RFID, if the Xboxes have something to scan that, it would scan it, get the information, so that you don't have to enter in serial codes, physical serial codes, and it would attach it to your account, and then again, you'd be able to go to a GameStop and they'd be able to scan that RFID. That would completely kill, that scenario completely kills eBay and Craigslist. If RFID is not involved, it will involve then that means that you'll have to have some sort of kiosk system when you go into a GameStop or have to give them your login and password details in order for them to take it off your account. Like, that's how it'll... So it's all just guesswork of how it's going to work, and none of it is really ideal. I can't really paint any scenarios in my head where it seems better than today. The only one, like I said on the show, was that utopian scenario in which it isn't a controlled used market online, and you're able to transfer your license to the highest bidder, which would be a very liquid and kind of a really, I think probably really good thing for gamers, is a liquid secondhand digital market. But I think I've got it all out. I think that's it for now. Digital, all kinds of crap, RFID, and yeah. So we still have to do the wait and see approach. Xbox has been extremely, frankly, bad at communicating and what they're going to be doing with this. I think they just didn't want anybody to have to talk about it, or they didn't want anybody talking about it. They didn't want this to be a part of the conversation, but because of their misinformation, their sort of half answers to everything, it's just made it worse for them, and it's been a real public relations nightmare for them, and absolutely warranted one, because this is frankly their fault, everything that's happening right now. They need to communicate it better. If it's not true, if these things are actually peachy and rosy, then tell us unequivocally, like categorically, how they're going to spell out. They want you to wait till E3, but another one of my theories is that they are just doing the wait and see. They're looking at what the response from gamers was to this. If we had responded like with no negativity, I'm sure that they would have gone full blown with the nightmare scenarios. And to be honest, the amount of negativity that we are garnering as a community online right now is maybe helping them backtrack, because now they can come forward and say, well, this is what we planned all along. It has nothing to do with their response. It's just that they just didn't understand it from the get-go. In actuality, they could be completely listening, and that's why you should continue to be indignant about the whole thing, any of these possibilities for them to be clamping down on all this. Oh, and I guess going back again, to the lended. That's the final topic is, how does this once again apply to my vlog earlier? Traded and lended games among your friends. How does that work? That means that if I want to lend my game, if there is the possibility of removing the license yourself, then there could be a scenario where you can remove the license for the weekend and send it home. I'm talking about kids at school or something, or whatever. The point is, I could, like, if I wanted to lend it to Ben, let's use my scenario. If I wanted to lend a game that I have on the Xbox to Ben, I would be able to go to my system, click, a thing that takes the license off my system so that he can go use it on his. That is inconvenient. It's an annoying step that we didn't have before, but it's a little bit better if this is possible. If that's possible, it's a little bit better than what we knew before. Again, we don't know that that can happen. For all we know, only retail locations have the ability to take license off accounts. We're not sure yet. We have to wait and see again, and again, that's Xbox's fault. We can only go off the information we have, and right now they've given us very little, and the information they have given us hasn't been very good. One other. This would be the best scenario, and I really doubt it would be true, but would be where you can go in and just click a little toggle on your account that says I am currently lending this game, or something like that. So that you don't have to physically delete the game off your system or remove the license, because I'm sure also that they would have a limited amount of license transferal, just like every company has today. Microsoft themselves with Windows, you can only install Windows to like 2 computers a year or something, like twice a year. Like you can only upgrade once a year to a new computer or something like that. I might be wrong on the number, but speculation continues. It's looking slightly better, but not great, especially for lended and traded games. Stay tuned, buddies. I'm going to keep on researching this, and help me out by sending me any links that look at a better prospect going forward for the Xbox One and for gamers in general. I love you, buddies, and see you later on.